Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Oscar vs. Trevor here, joined by Thomas as always, and a guest that's we'll see pretty frequently. I think we can call more than a guest. You know, a
Yeah.
recurring member, no longer a guest actor, now a supporting actor.
That's supposed
Yep,
to actor, yeah.
there we go.
We got Jack joining us once again. Seen him in some recent stuff. You know who he is by now, and we are talking about the Gold Derby polls. They dropped yesterday, 2 days ago, probably by the time that you're seeing this video. Also yesterday, I got my wisdom teeth taken out. I'm not doing too great right now. I'm loaded up on a metric ton of pain meds and steroids. So, I might be a little bit off. My mouth hurts a lot. But we're doing it because it's Gold Derby Day. Of course, they had to do it on literally the same exact fucking day that we're getting my wisdom teeth out.
They planned it for you.
They planned it for me specifically. Honestly, homophobic of them. But let's talk about them. We'll just be going through the 8 categories, talking about the big, what's at the top, all the big types of things there, what we agree with, what we disagree with, what's kind of weird, what, we hadn't maybe thought about before, things like that. Just freeform converse. So here we go. So straight away in the best picture, Killers of the Flower Moon at the top does make sense, at least for Gold Derby, but Past Lives right there, you love to see it. I mean, and this is about what we were expecting, and it makes a lot of sense. The early frontrunner Killers of the Flower Moon, we've seen this before with Fablemans and Trial, and I don't want to get going with this, but then you have the thing like Past Lives that's right there.
Yeah, although I will say Past Lives is dangerously close to being an early frontrunner. So many people are doing Past Lives, and it's number 2 on Gold Derby. I don't think Past Lives will take on this narrative of the sort of small movie that could. I think either Past Lives will just be a regular contender that's just this is the best picture contender. People are viewing it as the best picture contender rather than sort of everything every all at once.
What I could see happening is as fall festivals roll around, it will slide down the list a little bit, and then it will come back up.
Potentially. But yeah, I do think it's just interesting that Past Lives is so high at this stage. That is a big thing. Oppenheimer, number 4, interesting.
I don't get that.
We don't have it in picture.
I agree.
But yeah, I can see why a lot of people would put something like that.
I just, Thomas, nice thoughts on Oppenheimer. We just really don't. We're not convinced yet.
I just don't see why it wouldn't, personally. But I think that top 5 is pretty, even top 6, pretty secure, in my opinion. All of them.
I don't know.
I agree, minus Oppenheimer, of course. But June, right there, obviously, zone of interest right there. It's interesting, the zone of interest, I guess, is that high, but it's to be expected. I mean, looking at the review.
Again, it's what I've been saying. You can't look at the reception it got and just be, you can't ignore that. You can't. No. I'm sorry. You cannot ignore that reception. I don't care what the film is, what it's about. You just can't ignore that, especially in a world now where we're just seeing passion picks being the main plays over name checks. I mean, obviously the passion pick, obviously, you get enough number 1s and you're good. And it feels like it'll have the number 1
for sure. But yeah, Spider-Verse high as well. So that's good to see. Reinforces our sort of confidence in that pick. Maestro, key Netflix one. I can see Maestro slipping. I keep it in for now, just I think it will be Netflix's top contender. But
personally, I do have May December, which is quite a bit lower on this list, but I think that May December is the stronger Netflix play as of now.
I agree. It's still 101, I think, but
I think it is still 101. So pick it up if you can.
It's got a lot more potential, I think, acting and screenplay wise than Maestro does. I think Maestro is really just Bradley Cooper and makeup.
I genuinely think it's the whale. Actor, makeup, maybe an actress to come along, Hong Chow, Carey Mulligan. But I really honestly just think it's that. I don't see it getting screenplay or director, and I don't understand why it would get into picture off of just actor and makeup.
Yeah, I think mine is I don't think May December will be Netflix's main priority.
I think it makes a lot more sense than anything else they got right now.
They're always wrong with what their main priority should be too. So I think whatever they pick as their main priority probably won't end up being the best contender in the end.
Well, yeah.
May December already has positive reactions, which you can't say about anything else they have.
It's true. I just think May December won't be a picture thing, but
it's fair.
I'm surprised by how high Spider-Verse is, because I personally don't have it in, but it seems like lots of people do.
I think you're pretty alone on that. I know we do. I think Cole and Justin do. I mean, I know Adriano does. Zoe does as well. Most people in this space.
Yeah, I just don't see it sustaining, and I think the animated factor I just really don't think that they consider animated movies, even one as good as this, for Best
Sure, but
Picture.
like in the past when we've had locked 10s, like I mean, granted, in this modern era, there's only been 2 of them, and like you can't tell me that like Encanto was going to get a Best Picture nomination, and like
No.
I mean, Netflix just really fumbled the bag with the entirety of their Best Picture campaigning last year. But like if you look in the last 2 years before that, when we did have locked 10s, like if you could get into screenplay, like look at Up, look at Toy Story 3, like those types of things did get in. I mean, so I feel like it really isn't all that impossible.
No, it's close. It's like my number 11 or 12. I'm just hesitant right now.
And like if you're gonna have an early thing, you need to give people a reason to vote for it, where it feels like something special for the industry of film. That's what we saw with like Black Panther, Get Out, Mad Max Fury Road, Grand Budapest Hotel, like everything everyone wants. Obviously, there's these early picks, and like Spider-Verse really does feel like it fits into that.
Yeah, and it's also making boatloads of money in a summer which has seen a lot of quite high-profile failures. So I do think there's something to say about that as well.
Like I see what you're saying about maintaining the momentum, but like I mean, if we look later in the year, like I think the Golden Globes are going to go heavy for this. Critics' Choice are going to like lose their minds over it. Like
Critics' Choice, I don't know about the Globes.
I think
so I also think the good thing about this is it basically, I mean, we'll see about How Do You Live. I'm not confident that will actually win though. Like we're fairly sure Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will win Best Animated Feature.
It's got a locked off.
So yeah, because
just
we've
what
got
other
that
nominations?
People can then say, okay, well, we've got it this, so let's just give it picture as well. So I think the picture is more a sort of, that's where the challenge comes from, not from the winning animated feature. So I could see the narrative shifting towards these bigger awards, hopefully.
And like with things like score and VFX, as long as they make the short list and they can like show at the Bake Off, I feel like they'll be fine to get done.
Maybe score. I don't know about VFX, but
I mean, I think the short list is the real challenge.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, Maestro, we've already talked about. Saltburn, I mean, it just really does make sense, I feel. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it feels fine having that there. And then Anatomy of a Fall, I've recently shifted into my top 10 after dropping out Poor Things, just because, like, it feels like Neon, it can push it right. And, I mean, if we already think it can get actors and screenplay, and Neon, I mean, have campaigned pretty well. I mean, look at what they did with Triangle of Sadness. Like, I think it can just sneak in there.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that could happen. And when you've got 2 very high, very well received films from Cannes, like what's to say you can't get 2 of them in? It doesn't have to be the sort of lone Cannes pick.
Especially since the Anatomy of a Fall might not even be an international feature.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to be close.
Yeah. So then Barbie outside at 11. I feel like that makes sense for Gold Derby. Thomas and I do have it in, Jack. I know that you don't, but like,
no.
I think 11 is very respectable for it for Gold Derby.
Yeah.
So
I'd have it as a better chance than Spider-Verse, to be honest. But
really,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we do too, technically, but
yes.
We have them both in.
yeah.
I don't know. I think I'd say Spider-Verse ahead of Barbie. Personally.
I think there's a lot more
I think
nomination potential in Barbie than in Spider-Verse.
I can see that definitely.
Then we got The Holdovers. I'm not too convinced that this film will take, especially with Alexander Payne of it all, and like we'll see.
Yeah.
But I think
this is one we're just predicting will fail, I guess, and plenty of people are predicting this will hit big, and that's fine. Sure, whatever. It's 50-50 on this one for me.
Yeah. Poor Things, again, who knows? Like, yes, Searchlight are always really strong, but like, this movie, like, I'm excited for it. I love Yorgos Lanthimos, one of my favorite filmmakers working today. It really, really doesn't feel like it's being set up for success.
No, with release date, I don't know, and the trailer looks quite weird. It just looks weird. It just looks too.
I mean, it looks amazing to me. I think it's gonna be one of my favorites of the year. But
yeah, I think it could get in there. I think it's around where it is ranking wise here.
If it's Searchlight's top priority potentially.
Yeah.
So then Air, we've never been on the Air for Best Picture train.
No.
Never thought it would happen, and I mean, we just maintained that. I still just don't think it will happen. I honestly really don't. So I think that this is a fine spot for it. I'm glad it ended up top 10. Piano Lesson isn't coming out, by the way. We'll see that a couple times. That movie is not coming out this year, so don't have to worry about it. Napoleon Rustin, no, May December, as we said. Jack and I have that in. And then one thing I'm keeping an eye on is Next Goldwyn.
Yeah, that could be Searchlight's
because let's be
crowd-pleasing
honest,
TIFF movie.
It was just announced as like the TIFF like main gala premiere, and that can very easily place the up 3. and they've slated it for a November 23rd release date. And I can see the dominoes falling.
There's a lot of things in its favor. Like it could do very well at these festivals.
Sorry, but
it is Taika. He did do very well in his last film. I do think he stands more of a chance of being a sort of Academy favorite than someone like Yorgos Lanthimos. So looking at Searchlight, you're probably the safer bet is definitely to go for someone like Next Goal Wins. The only question is it going to be good? Because I've seen the marketing.
But does that matter?
I think it does matter to an extent. Like if it's negative,
but like good to us versus good to like the piece of the Academy that wants crowd pleasing fun movies.
And I think when you look at that top 10, there's not a lot of crowd pleasing movies in there, and there usually should be at least one or two. And I think that perfectly fits the bill of our crowd pleasing and dad movie.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like it should be. It's in my personal top 15, if not even higher.
I think it's definitely close. It's definitely close.
Like I feel like we could just kind of everybody overlooked it, but then I don't know. Thomas and I have had the Bike Riders kind of in and around our lists before, keeping an eye on that still, but nothing really else. So
I'll just say keep an eye out for Naiad, which is something I'm considering. No one else seems to, but I think that could be Netflix's.
I think you're pretty alone there.
I'm just taking a risk, This far out, why not?
Yeah, I do feel it's more likely to be Netflix's main choice in May, December.
That's a wild thing.
No, I think if they are pivoting away from Maestro, they're more likely to pivot for something safer like Naiad. That's my philosophy.
I wholeheartedly disagree with that, but okay. Director.
Team Naiad.
No, I'm not Team Naiad. I'm not.
You will be eventually. You'll join.
Sure.
Director, we got Scorsese number 1. This obviously makes sense. I honestly might have number 1 too, if I'm being honest at this point.
Potentially. Yeah, because we've been looking for another sort of pick. Or is it Celine Song? Is it Blitz Buzzwell? Maybe Jonathan Glazer, but no, it could just end up being
It could just honestly be Scorsese.
I think he's got a better chance than Spielberg last year ever had.
So. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Nolan up there. Thomas and I disagree, but I think if the film is in picture, he does come along. But if it's not in picture, I don't see him coming along. So we just don't have Oppenheimer in picture yet. But that seems fine. Jonathan Glazer. Guys, I picked this up for a 100-1. I was coming back in the car ride on Anastasia, and I had my priorities straight. I saw Gold Derby dropped, immediately did this. Got some amazing odds. And I got Jonathan Glazer 100-1. Very happy with that. He just really does feel like it's happening at this point. And I mean, well deserved for the career. Obviously, I haven't seen Zone of Interest. I think I'm gonna love it, but just massive fan of his work. I mean, Under the Skin is just a masterpiece.
I think this is far more likely than a picture for the film. I just think Jonathan Glazer is happening, even if it's not in picture. So,
I could see him David Lynching, just getting director and nothing else.
Yeah,
I believe
maybe like director.
He did Mulholland Drive and I would say Blue Velvet. Did he also do more? I can't remember what was his other one.
Yeah, but no, definitely a strong contender
here. Yeah. So then Celine Song, Past Lives, that feels safe, honestly, to me. I feel like that would happen.
Yeah.
And then Justine Triet. I don't know if I agree with this. I have taken Greta Gerwig out of my list. Just I don't trust the Academy to nominate 2 women, and I think that Celine Song is just the one at this point. Also, I haven't heard that Anatomy Falls that much of a directing play. I've heard it's way more writing and acting. So
yeah, I mean, I guess people are maybe looking at this to be the can director, but there's already Jonathan Glazer there, so I don't know. I think they will go for I mean, Scorsese as well, but I think they'll go for one of the sort of technical things. So one of Nolan and Villeneuve. Which one? I think June will be just a bigger thing at the Academy.
Yeah, I'd Villeneuve in.
Go with that. Yeah. And I'd also shift Bliss in there. So, over Justine. But, so my 6 and 7 are not bad places for these 2.
Yeah. I would just have Denis and Blitz in over Nolan and Trier.
Yeah, same.
Make my list.
Yeah, I think I'd just have Denis instead of Trier.
That's fair. Greta at 8, I think is fair, but we'll just see how much of it is just I think setting will play a big role in it. And we don't really know that much about how this is going to work, and we'll see, but I'm not as convinced of director as I am with Screenplay.
Yeah.
And after that, I really don't love any of these. You got Bradley Cooper. I don't know. Alexander Payne, as we've said, we aren't convinced of this film. Emerald Fennell. I mean, she did get nominated before, and apparently she's stepping up her directorness.
Yeah. I think Saltburn would have to be a major pitch contender for.
Right. It has to be top 5. I feel same thing with Yorgos and Poor Things. I feel like that has to be in picture first. I mean, as a upper contender, same thing with May December with Todd Haynes. I feel like that has to be in picture as an upper contender. If that's happening, then sure. But
and then once you get beyond that, your options are slim.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to actress, and this is the first one where like I wholeheartedly agree. Fantasia Bree.
Yeah,
I just think it makes sense.
Everyone's predicting it. There's just not a clear number 2. It's a very showy performance. Yeah, just makes sense.
Because I mean, Greta Lee, even though she may be a lot of people's number 1 like performance at the end of the year, it doesn't have that narrative that like say Michelle.
It's a very subtle performance, I think.
Yeah,
probably too.
So I don't know. I think
it's
I agree.
Brilliant.
I think Bruno just makes sense.
But yeah, so Natalie Portman as well just kind of makes sense. I feel like even if May December doesn't end up being in picture, like I think it will be. Like apparently she's showy. She's showy as hell.
Yeah,
like Natalie Portman showy in a Todd Haynes movie, like pushed by Netflix. Come on. No, I don't think that Netflix is going to get 3 Best Actor slots.
No.
But
they will get Annette Bening.
Naiad, say your piece.
Yeah. I mean, she's playing like an old retired swimmer who has to like train and get back in shape to like swim across an entire coast. I just seems baity. It seems like something they may go for. I think she has a better, if she does get in and the movie is well liked, a better chance than Portman or Lee, just with the overdue factor. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about it.
I can see the argument, but it also just like screams of thing that gets dropped on Netflix in like October that's forgotten about in a week.
Totally. It totally could be. Yeah.
And like it's giving way more the vibe of that, whereas like I feel like at least May, December, and even Maestro will be like conversation starters.
It has some good people involved though, like the directors of Free Solo. I think Claudio Miranda's doing the cinematography.
Yeah, no, I like again I can
potential.
see the argument, but like it's kind of one where I feel like I need to see it to believe it first. Whereas I have a bit more like instilled faith in some of the others.
And I also think Sandra Hüller is fairly low considering I'm fairly confident she will. I
feel really good about her getting in. Like I could even see a world where Sandra Hüller is like the number 2.
I do worry when you look at all of the branches of the Academy, the one branch that really doesn't go for foreign films or performances is the actors. I mean, no one in Parasite. It's usually like a big name that gets in, like Marion Cotillard or what's her name a few years ago?
Penelope.
Penelope Cruz. There was someone else, but I'm forgetting her. But yeah, I don't think Sandra Hüller quite has the name to do that. I think it's possible, but I just don't trust that branch when it comes to foreign. I mean, technically foreign. Apparently half of it's in English, but foreign performances.
Yeah, and I also could just see this being like a massive hit with the critics groups, and I feel like the critics will really push this performance.
Yeah, because I mean, based on everything we just heard about it, it seems like it's the type of thing where if you've seen the film, you're going to nominate the performance. So, and if we think like enough people will have seen the film to give it screenplay, potentially give it a picture, I don't see why actors wouldn't also.
Which, granted, it's not exactly the same category, so maybe it's not an entirely correct comparison, but maybe this is just Dolly DeLeon all over again. But I don't know. Like, I've heard just, like, powerhouse in this. Not just, like, really, like, fun, but, like, powerhouse performance.
Yeah, I think she's going to get in. I just don't think that she's, like, a lock. I think she's, like, it's close. I'm not sure if it'll happen.
That's fair. We kind of glazed over Carey Mulligan. I don't think
that's happening. I just don't. I mean, I think she'll get pushed to supporting probably. If the performance is looking likely to get in, but either way, I just don't think it's happening. Honestly.
No, I agree.
No,
I agree with that. Jessica Lange, Long Day's Journey into Night. She's definitely sliding on my radar, but like this doesn't even have an American distributor. And like, yes, the previous one got in, but like, I mean, this is like, it's directed by like a sophomore director, I think. I mean, it isn't, I don't know. It doesn't have the big names attached to it. Like, I just need way more info about this. But I could see
maybe
happening.
It's this year's To Leslie.
Potentially.
Maybe. I feel like that would be like Tiana Taylor or something, though.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have a To Leslie every year. I think that was
rare. Emma Stone would come along with the film. I mean, it looks like she's showy, but like, we'll see. Vanessa Kirby, I just don't think is going to happen. Margot Robbie, Barbie. I do think that this can happen if Barbie's a big player. Like,
it's only if Barbie is a big player, though. Like, she's
only if Barbie's a big player, but like, I could see her coming along.
Yeah, I could definitely.
Same thing with Zendaya. We'll see.
Yeah,
but I could see an argument. Kaylee Spaney, Priscilla. I don't know. I don't think there's really anything else.
No, it's not much else.
On to actor. I do agree with Bradley Cooper here, even though I don't think Maestro is gonna be a thing overall. Like it'll be like Brendan Fraser. Like if it's win. Like this movie's just winning makeup. I don't know what else to say. It's winning makeup, and if it's winning makeup, it's winning. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, probably, and like he's respected. So
overdue plus Netflix, like it feels perfect, and like even though I don't think the film will be that big overall, this just really does check out.
It does just make sense, but it would be the first lead acting award Netflix would win, so but
yeah.
It's not true. There you go.
I mean, and they honestly have the top two here, maybe. Like, I mean, at least Goldberg thinks so with Coleman Domingo, with Rustin. I mean, big biopic performance. I think DiCaprio is slightly stronger than Domingo, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I don't think Domingo will be winning awards. I feel like he's going to be the type of performance that's just sort of always there, always nominated, always in the crowd, but I don't think he's going to be a winning.
Yeah, I don't have him in my 5 personally, just because I don't think the film is going to get great reviews, and I think it would really get nominated anywhere. It would just be him, and I'm not sure if he has that level of acclaim and star power to really just get.
That's right. I think that both this, and then we'll talk about Bob Marley in a second, but I think both of them are like lead actor or bust.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, I think Bob Marley could maybe get a little more, but we'll talk about that.
Potentially. Paul Giamatti, maybe, but again, just really not convinced about this film.
I think he just comes with the film. Yeah.
It would have to be with the film. Barry Keoghan, I picked up 100 to 1 on Barry Keoghan. And like, I feel good about this. I've heard that he's incredible. I think that his time has come to get a lead nomination. I mean, it seems like just like a really juicy role. If this film is happening in picture, then I don't see any reason why he can't come.
Yeah, I agree.
No, completely agreed. I definitely have him in my 5, as what I have for Rosamund Pike. So yeah, I just think Saltburn will end up being a fairly big hit, which should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Cillian Murphy, we don't have him in, and I'm kind of surprised that Gold Derby doesn't have him in.
I'm surprised too. I see lots of people think he's winning.
Right. And again, like, we don't have him in, but like, hey, I mean, he has the second most win votes, but like,
he does.
The odds just don't.
That's weird.
Yeah. I don't know how Gold Derby formulates there.
Yeah, because he's had 782 there as well, so I just don't get that.
Yeah.
No.
Which is higher than everyone else, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe he is fine. They just haven't updated it or something. I can see Cillian Murphy happening. I would need the whole film.
We're in the minority on this, I think.
Yeah.
I think most people have him in.
I think most people have him in, yeah. I'm not entirely convinced that Nolan will get an actor in for a movie that comes out in July, but like,
I think if the movie's a hit, he's the face of the movie and he's in every scene. I think he would come.
He is the face of the movie, undoubtedly. Yeah,
for sure. Matt Damon in Air, I really don't think this will happen.
No.
Kingsley
Benadire. What?
I'm not really convinced about this.
I think it could happen, maybe. I mean, it's from the director King Richard.
It is.
Lashana Lynch and supporting actress, kind of like you saw.
I feel like it needs festival buzz though, and I'm not sure if it's going to festivals. Like, it looks like Paramount's doing the Babylon strategy of like,
that's not a good strategy.
Yeah, I also don't know. Just thinking of his previous work, he is quite a restrained actor. Bob Marley is not exactly, I guess, Freddie Mercury or Elton John. He's like quite a restrained character in pop iconography. So I don't know if this. I feel like the performance might just not be one that people are rushing to make.
Yeah. I think it all depends on the perception of the film. Like, if it's very well liked, I think he could.
Or if people even see it.
I think people will see it. I don't know if it'll be an Elvis level hit, but I think people will see it.
I mean, I want to answer somebody. Like,
yeah. I think this will probably be a better film than that, and probably have better marketing.
God. John David Washington has said Piano Lesson isn't coming out. Fassbender, don't think. Phoenix, no. UTO. Interesting that he's that low. I think that they'll honestly go supporting with him.
They should.
And then these are just two things that Thomas and I are keeping an eye on: Hopkins and Strathairn. We have Strathairn in our 5 right now. It's Sony Pictures Classic. Like, you cannot doubt Sony Pictures Classic. So just keep an eye on those two. They're probably going to stay 100 to 1 for a while. But Thomas and I both had Strathairn in for months now, and I'm not gonna give up on it just because like I feel I want to get ahead of the curve on Sony Pictures Classics, and like, this is where Cruise was, this is where Nye was. Look what happened with them. Sony Pictures Classics, gods at lead acting campaigns.
Yeah, but I will say it could be either of them very easily. So
or it could just be neither of them. Like, maybe it just doesn't happen this year, but I do think it is really worth keeping an eye on. And if you're playing the Gold Derby, game, like, pick up one of them for 100 to 1 odds, because like it's worth the gamble on the 100 to 1, I think. Just with SPC's track record in the past.
Yeah, I would keep an eye out for Michael Fassbender, either Killer or Next Goal Wins. I think he's gonna have a good year.
Maybe.
And David Fincher usually, at least in his last few movies, gets at least one acting performance in. So
for sure. Into supporting actress. So Lily Gladstone makes a lot of sense to be the number 1 here, though we're feeling. I think, are we all feeling Danielle Brooks?
Yeah, I think so, which is interesting that she is lower than Henton. I don't really know why. I mean, they're very
just the star power.
Potentially.
I think it is name recognition there. I agree.
I do think this is the clear, like, double nom. This is where you find it.
And I think that this is also just a very clear top 4, if I'm being honest. Because I can scroll down.
I can see more slipping. I can. I'd have her in for now, but I wouldn't say it's a clear top 4. I'd say it's a very clear top 3.
Yeah, very clear top 3. But like, I really don't think anybody as now outside of this 8 is looking that strong.
I have a few other people I think could maybe get in, but we'll see where they land on the list.
Interesting. Because like, I mean, if Mulligan switches, then like maybe. But like, I mean, yeah, Julianne Moore, if May December, like it feels like she'd just come along with that, even if that doesn't get in the picture. Jodie Comer, I mean, has a lot of career momentum right now. We'll see what happens with the bike riders. We both have, so Thomas, I believe we have top 4 plus Rosamund Pike, right?
Yes, I do.
Because we don't have Viola in, and we aren't convinced of the holdovers with Divine. So we'll see about that. But I don't know, like I feel good about this top 8. But because like after that you have Emily Blunt and Oppenheimer, which
no, I'd be surprised if she has more than 10 lines.
Yeah, honestly. Like Nolan, you know how Nolan is with the women. And Daniel Deadweiler, that movie isn't coming out. Margaret Qualley, Poor Things, just no. Maya Hawk Maestro, just no. Here's Team Naiad. Is that what you're gonna say?
Maybe, yeah, that's what I would say. She's her trainer, so.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, I guess if
trainer and best friend.
If they're going in all in on that, then maybe.
And she got in at the Golden Globes, and did she win for Mauritanian?
Yeah. That is what
I think there's a lot of love for her as an actress. She'll also be in True Detective later this year.
There you go.
But is there really anything else here?
I don't see Lashana Lynch yet, but I think she also has potential if the movie's big.
Maybe.
I don't know where she landed, but yeah.
I know, to me that just feels like best actor or bust.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it could be.
There you go, 44. Wow.
At 44. Yep. That's surprisingly low.
Yeah.
I don't have her in, but yeah.
Yeah.
That low.
I mean, I think she should be higher than that, but I don't see it being the thing overall.
No, I don't think so. She'd be in my top 10 though.
All right, supporting actor. I mean, I think that this top 3 makes a lot of sense. De Niro, Magaro, Gosling. I'd rearrange the order. I'd have it go Magaro, Gosling, De Niro, but like I agree with this top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, De Niro, apparently he's great. Career choice, whatever. John Magaro, kind of like, I mean, it's giving Caught Turnkey just a little bit in Past Lives. Like it is giving that a little bit. Then Ryan Gosling, it's supposed to be like the best performance of his life. And I mean, if Barbie's even just like a marginal hit, like I feel like it's him and Screenplay are the floor for like above the line nominations for that film.
It's like he can come definitely without the film. Like definitely that.
Yes, I agree. Coen Domingo and Color Purple is interesting. I don't know if he gets a double nom like ScarJo in 2019.
No, I think this doesn't come back to name recognition. I could see him just not happening in lead though, and happening in supporting instead. Like I could see the momentum shifting that way, especially since the Color Purple will obviously be a high profile contender than something like Russell. So
I don't have him in either, sadly, which is upsetting. But I worry because the supporting actor performance here that I think won the Tony was from Corey Hawkins' character. I know Coleman Domingo's character is pretty despicable and evil, so I don't know how much love there will be for that. So I think Corey Hawkins
is possible. Yeah.
He should be higher. I don't know where he is, but he was quite low. Yeah, 15.
Yeah.
I feel like he should be a bit higher. I mean, because like again, Tom Hardy and Bike Riders. We'll see what happens with this film. I don't think he should be that high though.
I mean, it is interesting. I will say just about Bike Riders that Gold Derby seemed to like it for acting. Like it's got Camara, it's got Hardy in.
Once again, those numbers just don't make sense.
Yeah,
why it's
no picture. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess still updating probably.
Yeah.
Charles Melton I do actually have in, but it was because I was able to grab him on 85-1 odds. So
people say he's maybe the standout performance opposite.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that he's holding his own, and like I think that film will get at least 2 out of 3, if not 3 out of 3 for the actors. I mean, I could even see a world where like it's some sort of like combination of like being the Ricardo's lost daughter. Like even without picture, it gets like 3 acting and screenplay or something like that.
In most years, there's usually like one younger performer in supporting actor. Yeah. So I think he could be that.
I could genuinely see it happening.
I can see it. I just don't know if May December will be a massive hit like screenplay plus 3 acting. I don't know if it'll be that extent.
That's fair. But this category is kind of weak right now. Like
it is kind of weak.
We don't feel good about Domingo or Hardy. Samuel Jackson movie's not coming out. Jesse Plemons apparently is in like 3 scenes of Killers of the Flower Moon. If Poor Things isn't a hit, which we don't necessarily think it will be, no Ruffalo or Defoe. Matt Bomer's just not going to happen for Maestro. Glenn Howerton's just not going to happen for Blackberry.
He could be like a critic's pick, like Brian Tyree Henry. Maybe.
No.
Glenn, I don't know about Glenn Howard.
No. Then Glenn Turman, Rustin, Ben Affleck. Like there really isn't a lot. Like I actually grabbed. This isn't coming out fun strong. Oppenheimer second gets supporting. So I actually have Jeremy Allen White and Ironclaw in.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. Maybe.
career momentum.
I'm not. He has lots of career momentum, but like I'm not in love with that choice.
Yeah, I mean, there should be someone in this category whose film isn't in Best Picture. That happens in the supporting categories every year, so it could be him.
I've done with Jeremy Allen White right now.
Yeah.
Was Brian Tyree Henry last year?
But
could
like
be Glenn Howerton this year.
Potentially, but I doubt it.
But like with how weak this is, like I really don't like Charles Melton's at least like top 7, top 8.
Yeah. I think definitely.
He's very much
think
there.
he's probably about where he is there, number 6.
Yeah. But nothing really else. Quite weak category here.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a lot of them.
That's a lot of people.
Okay, in the best adapted screenplay. So before, like, listen, I know it's Barbie, but what the fuck is it doing down at number 7?
I think there's some confusion still if it's adapted or original.
I think so as well. It's like we're still confused. Gold everything's adapted, but like I mean, they got Banshees wrong for a while the year before. Before that, they had King Richard wrong for a while.
Yeah.
Gold Derby isn't the law. I mean, it could still go either way. I'm not convinced either way of where they're campaigning it, and I think we're gonna have to wait until like a Warner Brothers rep in like 4 or 5 months' time to actually tell us.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it's got to be higher. Like,
if it's in adapted, I would think it's in there. I think it honestly might go original, but I think it's probably.
I think it will go original as well. But like if it's adapted, I feel like it's top 2. Genuinely.
I'm leaning adapted. And I think it, as you say, it is top 2. I don't know if I would say it will win unless it is like a really big hit, which I'm not.
I'd say it has to be like top 5 picture to win.
Exactly. But other than that, like this is a weird category because you got things like Oppenheimer and Donovan just very high up, and I just don't think
they're screenplay movies. Like even if and here's like the thing, like I think Barbie can get into screenplay without a picture nom, and I think Oppenheimer and Zone of Interest can get into the picture and not get screenplay.
Yeah. I do.
Same
I think Nolan,
which is lower here in 10. I mean, it's musical, but like
that's surprisingly low. I think Oppenheimer will probably be one of his more dialogue-based films, so I think I have it in. But
okay,
yeah,
I don't think it's number 2 though.
No, it's a tricky category. I mean, is Scorsese really gonna win? I mean, maybe.
That's the thing. There is no clear winner in this category either. Like I think June, I'm very confident it gets nominated. Weirdly, because like the first one did, it doesn't make sense why this one necessarily wouldn't. Like I'm fairly confident Spider-Man would get in as well, but I don't see a real winner for me.
I mean, I think I don't think Barbie's like a far shout, if I'm being completely honest.
No, it could be like Promising Young Woman that year.
And you also get the cross off Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, like give them both Oscars.
Yeah.
Like I do really think it's possible. I mean, yeah, you have Barbie of Killers. I have Spider-Man and Dune in, and then I have Poor Things getting in as a lone screenplay choice as of now. Like again, we'll see what happens with Bike Riders. Like maybe Zone of Interest or Oppenheimer can happen. After that, though, like Color Purple
Next Goal Wins.
Next Goal Wins can happen. Piano Lessons not coming
Next
out.
Goal Wins could also be a lone screenplay thing potentially. Interestingly, Poor Things and Next Goal Wins are sort of.
And there's really nothing else. Like you can argue Niad's not gonna happen first.
I'm not putting Niad in screenplay. No.
Like come on,
I'm not going that far.
But like it really does just feel like there's a 10. Like take up Piano Lesson, and it feels like it's just this 10, and like it isn't that strong of a 10. Like it isn't that strong of a category.
If Strangers is a big hit at festivals, I think maybe that could be a lone screenplay.
Okay, that's fair.
For Andrew Hay.
Yeah, which is also Searchlight. So Searchlight really going to be hammering home their lone screenplay numbers.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they push. But yeah, and like Color Purple could still happen if that's like winning picture competitive, but like they hate musicals and screenplay. Hate them. So we'll see. And last one up, original screenplay. Past Lives number 1. I just think it's happening, guys. I really honestly think like even if it doesn't win picture, which Thomas and I we still have Past Lives winning picture. Even if it doesn't win picture, like this just feels right.
What else would it be?
Yeah. No, 100%. There's no one else really that's even a contender to win. Like maybe
unless Saltburn is huge. I don't know.
Yeah, like Saltburn, I'm fairly confident it gets nominated.
I like Saltburn at number 2. I agree with these as the top 2.
Yes. Yeah.
I
mean, Emerald Fennell previous winner, and like here's the other thing: like we've had at least one woman win in screenplay so far every year this decade, and I feel like that trend will continue. Whether it's we get Celine Song, whether we get Emerald, like I feel like we're almost guaranteed. Like I shouldn't say guaranteed this early, but like between Celine Song and Emerald Fennell here, plus potentially Greta in adapted, or being, I mean, I would say joining and making this a top 3 in original. Honestly, we're looking quite good to get another woman winning in screenplay. It's nice. Imagine this Past Lives and Barbie. Like how
That would be great.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, the holdover is really high.
Yeah, the holdover is really high.
Speaking of women,
Yeah.
we'll see how the Alexander Payne controversy goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really factor in last year when we thought, there'd be some controversy around Inarritu that gets drawn out. But
to be sure, people just didn't like the movie.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know how much the controversy will actually factor in. I think the more worrying issue with this film is that it just won't be good and that it's going to be too outdated for the Academy's sensibilities at this point in time. Maestro is also ridiculously high. Again, you've got two
How
films
is
in the
that
top 5
Yeah,
that just
that's
don't
crazy.
feel. A holdover is fair enough. If it's a thing, it's a screenplay thing. Maestro, even if it's a thing, I really don't see it as a screenplay.
No, I completely agree.
No.
Anatomy of a Fall, I agree with, though. I think that does make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and then Air, I think, is perfectly fine at number 6. There's lots of things that I put over it, but I still think it is above things. Like,
It doesn't even have
like 6 to 8
Ben
range.
Affleck and Matt Damon attached to it, so I think that hurts it too.
Yeah, it's Alex Convey, just a rando.
Yeah,
like
just him. Yeah.
Yeah. May December, I do have in, actually.
Yeah.
May December, I think, makes sense to happen
Todd
in
Haynes.
screenplay at least.
And then after that, like Napoleon, no. Asteroid City
No.
would be great, but no. Rustin, no. Joyride, again, would be
Joyride.
great, but
Yeah.
no. So I have actually gone for, and I talked to Thomas about this beforehand, I've gone for the Book of Clarence. Like, it seems really, really fun. It's like a historical comedy. It's same editor as like some of Taika's stuff, so it's gonna be very like zippy, fast paced. It's about a guy.
It's James Samuel, right?
Yeah, James Samuel, director
Yeah.
of The Harder They Fall, his sophomore film. It's Sony, so SPC has stuff and Sony Animation have stuff, but like Sony proper doesn't really have anything to push. And like it's about this guy played by Lakeith Stanfield, like trying to profit off of like the coming of Jesus in Jerusalem and 2,000 years ago. So it'll be like this. It's gonna be like a capitalism class critique commentary, and like Benedict Cumberbatch and James McAvoy in it, or like Fiona Taylor and R.J. Seiler. Like, it's a stacked cast, like ridiculously stacked cast. Michael Ward's also in it. Like, it's a really fun cast. So like I could just see it being like a really fun historical comedy with some political like messaging that's just very like zippy. And like I have it in. I mean, again, if you're playing Gold Derby game, like I feel like you're looking at something like that, or like Driveway Dolls or Challengers as like this kind of like fun like lone screenplay nom.
Yeah, completely agreed. I do think I would potentially be leaning more towards something like Challenges just at this point, but I can see the Book of Clarence potentially being the sort of thing that comes
just
up.
because, like, as you said, like none of these other options make a lot of sense. Like I don't feel good about Holdovers, Maestro, Napoleon, like.
No. I mean, Rustin does have that previous winner thing. Is the only thing that I think.
But
is
it
a bit
does feel actor bust, though. Like, it really does feel actor bust.
It does to an extent, unless Netflix pivots towards this instead of Maestro.
That'd be weird. That doesn't fit their profile, though.
I think over here, that May December would probably be the best screenplay bet they have.
Yeah.
In this category.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they could get to, because I'm predicting May December anyway.
Yeah.
Potentially. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. The screenplay categories feel like weirdly like shaky right now after the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But I think that is it. That is where we are at right now. I'll switch this back up right there. There we go. But that is it for our talk on Gold Derby. It's always a fun thing to check in on at this time of year in the summer, right after we're at Cannes, before we get into fall festivals, to see where like the general consensus is going. And obviously we'll be tracking this throughout the year to kind of help us out on the general consensus with our own predictions. But anything else you guys have to say before we head out?
I don't think so. These were fun. These were interesting. I mean, I'm sure they'll take a bit to update. Obviously, things like the piano lesson need to be taken off.
Yeah.
I think the bike riders will significantly drop. I don't know why they were so high on everything.
Yeah,
but
the math did math there.
No, the numbers were way lower than everyone else's, so it didn't quite make sense. I also couldn't find Jason Momoa in supporting actors, so they should probably get on that.
That needs to be in there. I mean, HCA runner-up. Come on.
Yeah, it's the first precursor. No one else has got a precursor.
Technically second place behind Glenn Howerton. Let's be honest.
Yes, exactly. So maybe you're not
There we go.
But those are our thoughts on the Gold Derby. The Gold Derby opening polls. We'll be updating our Oscar predictions very, very soon, within like the next month or so, probably before we get into fall festivals. So those will be quite fun. Maybe have some guests. I don't know. We'll see. Jack, Sam, see who we can rotate in, but should be lots of fun. So make sure that you stick around for that. Jack, anywhere that you want to send the people?
Twitter, YouTube, Oscar Film Forecast. That's really it.
Cool. I will be linking all of that in the description, so make sure you go check that out in addition to all of Thomas and I's social medias. But thank you everybody so much for watching. I am going to go ice my mouth because this, it was fun. Probably not the smartest idea. But yep, gotta this. I don't know what I'm doing. Too many pain meds. Thank you everybody. Bye.